All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, all right? And this is a follow-up to the video that was just done a few hours ago, all right? Referring to what? The power that was given to Trump, all right? Here it is in the wake of his power that was given to him by the Supreme Court. He has now let go of 1,000, or as it says in the headline, more than 1,000 people that were laid off at the U.S. State Department. All right. So today is July the 12th. And the other lesson that was done was early this morning, okay, or late last night. And here it is, more than 1,000 people were what? Given the opportunity to resignate and walk, and to receive whatever benefits they may or may not have from working for that long, okay? So we're going to let this clip play, and we're going to read a little bit more about this story right here, all right? So check out this. Let's let it play.
I'm here because this isn't just bad for Virginia and our federal workers. This is bad for every single American and for our world. Because in the end, the work that's being done here by these folks matters not just to Virginia, but to every single person in this country and everyone around the world.
It is very sad. All of my staff was riffed today, and you run the gamut between folks that are having their first child to folks that are the single income in their household, and now that is gone.
And what does the scripture say? Woe to them that give suck in that day, all right? Meaning what? Those that are with child that are, newly born infants, okay? Because this devil isn't going to care whether or not you have a child, whether or not you live on your own. When he comes down with that great wrath, that's just it. It's going to be great. You're going to lose your job, your source of livelihood, and everything else that goes along with it, okay? That's why we're telling you, all right, repent, all right? America is finished. Just did a camp, a street preaching today entitled Final Destination, America's Bloodline, all right? You Americans, you Egyptians, y'all through, man. All right, this place is circling the drain, okay? It's not too much long, all right? We coming to the end. So this laying off of thousands of jobs is only the beginning. This was in Virginia, but hey, it's going to spread like wildfire throughout the whole land, okay? So look for more jobs to be lost or to be walked away from. And you ain't going to get applaud. You may get applaud like this was a show, but hey, you going to get let go, and don't be looking for that applaud or that, praise that we thank you for all your services. Man, it's just going to be another day in the field. All right, another 1,000 people here, another 1,000 people there. Hey, and we're going to get ready for the next wave or round of protests. All right. So the story goes on to read, more than 1,000 employees of the U.S. State Department have been laid off as part of the Trump administration's efforts to reduce its federal workforce. See, under the guidelines of trimming the fat, a lot of you people, you Egyptians, are going to lose your livelihood, your jobs, okay? And it's going to be scarce, all right? Which is setting the stage for 2nd Ezra's, I believe it's 15, where it says a neighbor shall go into his neighbor's house for the lack of bread. All right? Because how are you going to afford things if you don't got no jobs? If the workforce is scarce, if you can't find jobs at the lower spectrum of the workforce, you can't get a job at McDonald's. You can't get a job at the warehouse. You can't get a job at anything because why? Automation. You just lost your 6-figure paying job working for the federal, working for the state, and along with the state, all of your benefits is gone. Okay? So it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world out there, and we've been telling you this. All right? So it says the involuntary staff reduction in inductions included. So they're saying that it was involuntary, all right? Not voluntary, but involuntary, all right? Because voluntary means you know on your own accord, but involuntary means that you don't have any say-so. Let's look up that word involuntary.
Involuntary.
Done without will or conscious control. So these people lost their jobs involuntarily, all right? Done without will or conscious control. They didn't want to lose their job, all right? But Trump said, hey, we're cutting the fat. We're letting go of jobs that we don't need or deem necessary to operate in this system, okay? And it's going to spread like wildfire throughout the rest of the land, America, okay? So you Egyptians, you get ready, man, all right? Great pain and agony is coming for you because how you going to pay your bills? Here it is, you don't live this life above average because you had a good paying job, and now you got to lower your standards and find something that's less acceptable. And a lot of people ain't going to be able to deal with that, man. All right? So, hey, it is what it is. It says the involuntary staff reductions included 1,107 civil service and 246 foreign service employees, according to a notice sent to State Department employees on Friday and obtained by CBS News, the BBC's U.S. news partner. More than 1,500 other State Department employees took voluntary departures earlier this year. See, Trump gave them earlier this year to voluntarily to leave and to collect a severance. But now, involuntary, I don't know if they were still giving that same, here's your last check and your severance to go along with it. All right. So it was voluntary in the beginning, but now this was involuntary. All right. Because why? The power was given over to this cruel Lord. All right. Donald J. Trump. It says, according to a notice, we hear more than 1,500 other State Department employees took voluntary departures earlier this year as part of the federal government massive reorganization effort. So it ain't through by any stretch of the imagination. It is not through. All right, they're going to cut more jobs, man. More people are going to be looking for work in Babylon the Great, and they ain't going to find it. Which, like I said earlier, is going to set the stage for 2 Ezra 15. It says, critics have argued the mass cuts will affect the work the department does. And it may or may not, but that's besides the point because they got AI, they got all type of backup replacements, okay? One person alongside with AI, artificial intelligence, can do the job of 1,000 people, all right? So they may not miss a beat, okay? And furthermore, with this beast system that's being put into place as we're seeing it right before our very own eyes, everything is going to be done digitally, all right? So there's no need for interactions amongst human beings anymore, okay? They've been setting the stage with voice automated answer machines. When you call, 1-800 customer service, you get, if you like to speak to this department, press 4. And at one point in time, you will press 4 and you will speak to a human being. But now when you press 4, it says, what can we do to help with the issue? And then they give you a list of items that you may need help with, and you press the corresponding number to go along with that item, and they tell you what type of troubleshooting you can do. All right? It's hard to now press 0 and get in contact with a real live person, okay? And when you do, the person that you get in contact with, it ain't an Egyptian or an American. It's someone that they gave the job to overseas, you know, a Elamite, a so-called Hindu or Indian person. We've all been there before, all right? They taking the jobs that none of the Americans want to do here, all right? The little trivial jobs, the customer service jobs that Jake seemed to think that he's entitled or she's entitled. Because why? She's born here in America? No, you got other individuals that weren't born here in America that they're going to give the jobs to because they don't call off from work. They don't show up late. They glad to get their little 50 cents or however much it is in their prospective country. All right? See, you damn Jakes, man, you done got too much of that ego, that pride, that proudness, okay? And Esau Edom is done with your ass, man, which is why he's doing this massive cut. All right, trimming the fat. All right, ain't gonna replace your ass with AI, artificial intelligence, up in the upper echelon in these high off-to-do jobs, and down towards the lower spectrum of the workforce, automation is gonna take over. All right, you know, robots alongside AI that can package, that can ship, that can load and unload trucks, that can do everything that you thought that no one could, and even drive the trucks. You know, and then that goes for fast food restaurants as well. All right, you got automation that can turn the fries, cook the fries, make the burgers, and everything else. So essentially, all you need is one employee to run the whole operation. All right, so don't be surprised when they lay off a lot of people from those jobs. Okay. It says CBS News reported that nearly all civil service officers in the Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration Office of Admissions, a program that resettles refugees in the U.S., were cut. Right. What do they need that program for? They getting ready to deport. All right. Ain't going to need no resettling. They're going to put your ass in a detention center like the one in Florida, Alligator, Alcatraz, and then repopulate or deport you to another country. All right? It says individuals who work for the State Department's coordinator for Afghan relocation efforts, acronym CARE, office were also among the cuts. All right? The cat's out the bag, man. All right? These prophecies have exposed this man. He ain't looking to hide anymore. He's coming out. This devil is showing you his horns. Okay. It says videos shared on social media show civil service members in the lobby of the department leaving the building with their belongings. Right. Pack your shit and leave, man. Other employees are seen applauding former colleagues and hugging one another. Little do they know, they gonna be on the chopping block soon. It says outside the building, protesters gather with signs that read, "Thank you to America's diplomats, and we all deserve better." Well, keep that sentiment, okay? Because you're gonna be right side along with them, and ain't gonna be no money for you to get in unemployment. All right, you're gonna have to take that chip and get universal basic income put onto that chip. All right. So the stage is being set, a little fat here, a little fat there, till they trim all the fat away, all right? Which is you useless eaters, man, all right? That ain't bringing nothing to the show. They ain't bringing nothing to the table. They got to get rid of you. They're going to chip you up with the RFID microchip, put it inside your right hand or your forehead, and you're going to be reduced to a cubicle to sleep, live, and play in, all because you're going to have that chip in you, all right? You ain't going nowhere. You wasting too much carbon. All right. You eat, you're going to be told what to eat. And if you ain't one of the ones in the upper echelon, you're going to be given what? that artificial lab meat, okay? All in the uh all in the best interest to reduce your carbon footprint. Only the elites will be allowed to eat real food, man. See, this is what you got to look forward to with this man and his system. That's why those of us that are in the truth, that are enduring to the end, we putting all our trust and faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, we gonna eat, and it ain't gonna be no lab-grown meat, okay? We gonna eat, and we ain't gonna miss a beat, okay? So let's get a few precepts, and then we'll take it from there. All right, we are in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, and we're going to start at verse 17. It reads, "Woe is me! Woe is me! Who will deliver me in those days?" See? So Ezra saw the times that we getting ready to come into, man, and it's going to be complete destruction, all right? If you ain't got Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai on your side, you ain't going to make it, man. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? So you see, this is where we at right now. We're in the beginning stages, man. All right, and you see the people, they don't know no better, all right? They hear applauding and clapping, thinking it's a damn game, man. All right, they don't know. The stage is being set for what? Destruction. It reads verse 19, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." Right? So they don't see that these plagues that we are in the beginning stages are meant for what? Amendment, for you to repent, for you to return to your Lord. Speaking of you Israelites, all right? You other heathen nations, y'all finished no matter what, man. All right? But for you Israelites amongst these nations, because you got Israelites that's working in the state government departments, all right? But guess what? They don't build some type of what's the word? Not camaraderie, but they done built some type of friendship with a lot of these heathens, and they don't want to let go of that friendship. So guess what? They gonna suffer right along with these heathens, all right? So it says, "But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges," right? They think they gonna lose this job and find another job. They don't understand that the famine is getting ready to take place, man. It's gonna be hard to find work out here in Egypt. All right, it's gonna be far hard to find things to eat. All right, so the jobs are gonna be scarce. It says you're gonna hear rumors of wars, and we all seeing this. Okay, now let's go to Psalms 140 and see who's behind this. We know ultimately is Yahweh, but he's using a particular entity to do this. This is Psalms 140, and let's start at the top, verse 1. It reads, "To the chief musician, a psalm of David." He goes on to read, "Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man." Who is that evil man today? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. He's getting ready to come down with great wrath. Revelation 12 and 12. "Preserve me from the violent man." He ain't going to regard your little ones. He ain't going to care if you can't afford, Similac or food or whatever. All right, he's going to tell you, come take this chip then. If you care so much, we got an answer or a solution. It just involves you sticking out your right hand and getting this microchip inside of it alongside your infant, your child, your baby, and whoever else. It says, verse 2, "which imagine mischief in their hearts," which is their mind. This is what they've been thinking about. "Continually are they gathered together for war," right? This is all they have. What does this say? Is that Psalms? Is that Psalms where it says war was in their heart? You see, they talk what is that? As smooth as butter, but war was in their heart. Is that Psalms 55:21? Let's see. It's been a while since I brought that one out. Psalms 55:21. Yeah. Call halal Yahweh Ba'Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. But what? But war was in his heart. You see, this man is selling you a pipe dream, okay? He's selling you everything that he can that ain't nailed down. But guess what? The alternative or the ulterior motive of him is to bring war. All right? It's to set the stage for the mark of the beast to be made mandatory. All right? To cut the jobs, to lay off people, to cause division. All of this is going to happen within the confines of its borders, all right? Here in Babylon the Great, America. More than likely, the destruction is going to come from within first, all right? It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were sulfur than oil, yet were they drawn swords, man. This man is finna start putting out decrees, all right? Unrighteous decrees to lay off these people, trim the fat. You know, we don't need no more. We got enough. We're full. We can't, matter of fact, let's let off another 1,000 people, all right? So it's coming across the whole land, man. This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Right. These executive orders turn law, big beautiful bills. Those are going to what? Do away with subsidized programs, do away with certain jobs, and leave every man himself out here to what? Fend and get it on their own. All right. Until the chip is made mandatory. All right. So that's the stage that is being set as we currently sit and wait. So back to Psalms 140. It reads, where we at? 140:2. Psalms 140 in verse 2. It says, which imagine mischiefs in their heart continually are they gathered together for war. Right. This is all they think about. War was in their heart. They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent. Adder's poison is under their lips. Salah. Right. According to their grievous laws that they write. All right. They rewriting the books, man. Okay. And you ain't going to have no clue, man. Because see, this new system that's being put up ain't going to have no recollection of the old system, man. All right. They're using the old system to bring in the new system. Undocumented immigrants, can't harp on that enough, are going to be what? Eventually those that don't take the chip, because you're not going to be verified in this beast system. So now you don't have the proper quote unquote paperwork to prove who you are. So you're going to be shipped and deported to other parts of the earth, man, and held in other detention centers. Okay. So this man is setting the stage. He's using the old system to bring in his new system, the beast system, okay? And it ain't going to be anything nice for those of you that don't have Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai on your side. And we've been telling you that, all right? We just seen it. He just laid off more than 1,000 people. And they left involuntarily, okay? They didn't want to. But guess what? They was given that decree, that order that they got to get their stuff and leave, man, all right? And as the guy said, some may have had, children. Some may just be single. But that's besides the point. Because it tells us that in Matthew 24, in verse 19, that what? Woe unto them that give suck, or that are with what? Child. Let's read that. Matthew 24:19, this is what Yahweh Shai said, red letters. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, right? suck is going into what? The breast. All right. So you got infants, you got small children. It's going to be hard for you in that day. Why? Because there's going to be no work to be found in Egypt. How are you going to support yourself and your family, your children? How are you going to feed yourself, your children? Because there's going to be a famine, okay? There's going to be a great famine coming to the land, man. All right, which is going to what? Spark up 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter, all right? This is all tying in together for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear. 2nd Esdras 15, we just being the tool to tie the pieces together so you can see it and repent before it's too late. So this is 2nd Esdras 15, and let's start at verse 18. 2nd Esdras 15 and 18. It reads, "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." See, so we coming into a time where it ain't gonna be safe, not even in your own house, okay? Because people gonna know, man. All right, this person we done scoped out the spot for a while. We know he got this, or we know she got that. You know, we know she don't got any type of man that's protecting her. So we got us an easy lick. All right. We just got to catch her at the right time. It says, verse 19, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor." See? He ain't gonna care in that time, man. It's gonna be a dog eat dog world, man. I ain't got no job, no money. You know, I need some food. I need whatever it is you got. I need that. It says, "But shall destroy their houses with the sword." They gonna come in, they gonna jack boy rob you, take whatever you got, you know, hold you up at gunpoint and tell you to come up off of it, man. And spoil their goods, whatever goods you got, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it's your wife, all right? Whether it's your daughter. They gonna be lawless in that day. It says in Isaiah, they're going to be ravishing women, okay? It says, because of the lack of bread. See, there's going to be a famine, man. They're going to have to get it how you can, man. And if you ain't got the Lord on your side, you putting yourself in the midst of all this judgment that's going to be going on. It says, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, no jobs, no security, no anything. Just complete and utter misery, all right? That's what's coming to America. It's through. It's finished. Final destination. America Bloodlines. Just did that in today's street preaching, okay? So this is showing you that you don't have no security here in Babylon the Great. Even if you work at a federal department, all right? You just been cut. And if you don't have no source of income because you can't find another job to pay what you was getting paid at the federal State Department, guess what? You're going to lose your apartment, your house, and whatever else. You may even lose your wife. She may leave you, all right, and try to find someone else. So there's no security with, America. Babylon the Great, man. We seen it. More than 1,000 people were just let off today, Saturday, July 12th, 2025, and more to come. That was in Virginia. All right, there's going to be more to come throughout the land in the upcoming weeks and months. All right, especially when that big, beautiful bill goes into or is an act, which I believe is next year, 2026. Okay, so you've been warned. Take heed while you still have time. Let's go ahead and close out 1 Peter 5 and 8. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, "Be sober." See, we're telling you right now, because once all hell breaks loose, it's going to be hard for you to be sober and to have a clear mind to think. All right, that's why you have to be sober now. All right, wisdom and knowledge, Isaiah 33 and 6, should be the stability of thy times. Get it while you can. It says, be vigilant. We watching these things. We seeing them unfold according to prophecy. So we getting our mind right. We getting our temple, our body prepared. All right, we being in the spirit. It says why? Because your adversary, the devil, the wicked man, the evil man, we read in Psalms 140, as a roaring lion walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Believe it or not, okay? You're going to find out the hard way if you don't, all right? You think that you secure? What does it say? Ecclesiasticus chapter 5 and 7. In your securities, then sudden destruction cometh, all right? How many of those federal employees thought a year or two ago they would be getting the papers to walk? Now they got the papers to walk. Now they can't come back and find another job. All right, they got to move on. Okay, well, it's coming to the point where that's going to be the sentiment across the board. Here's your papers. Move on. Go find another job, and it's going to be hard as hell to find jobs out there, because there's going to be no work in Babylon, pursuant to Isaiah the 19th chapter, right around verses 14. Neither head nor tail. There's going to be no jobs for either head or tail, okay? From the upper part of America to the lower part of America, you ain't going to have no jobs. It's going to be hard to find a job, all right? And then ultimately, they're going to bring in the what? The beast system, the microchip, and you're going to have to get chipped in order to receive that little help you need, that extra money or whatever at the end of the month. Universal basic income. So see, we telling the people not to what? Be sober and be vigilant, all right? Because it's going to be hard as hell to be sober and vigilant in that time, man. All right, people are going to be losing it, bugging the hell out, all right? And see, the elect, they're going to be cool as a cucumber, sober. Why? Because they sought Yahweh while he may be found. And now he's going to keep them in the hour of temptation, all right? So that's going to be it. We're going to wrap it up with that being said. Pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.